All right, we are officially on to Chapter 4 of Lady Lollipop, and the title of this chapter is Busy, Understand? Look at those punctuation marks. Pay attention to those. One thing you could say for certain about that spoiled child, Princess Penelope, she didn't mess around. Hardly had the grooms and stable lads begun work in the royal mews next morning than the princess appeared, making for the stall in which her pig was kept. Johnny Skinner had just returned from the royal kitchens with a bucket full of tasty pig food, and Lollipop was tucking in, snout deep in the trough. What does it mean, tucking in, snout deep in the trough? So trough is where a pig eats. So think what it means, or what do you see in your head when you see Lollipop tucking in, snout deep? Snout is the... Johnny, said the princess, you think yourself a brilliant pig trainer, don't you? You could train Lollipop to do anything, I suppose. Well, I don't know about that, miss, said Johnny. I could train her to do most things, I suppose. But you could train her not to do some things? How do you mean, miss? Could you train her not to do things in the house? Could you house train her? Well, she's never lived in a house, but she's going to live in one now, said the princess. In fact, she's going to live in the palace. My pig is. So could you palace train her? For a moment, Johnny didn't answer. He stood there, scratching his head, wondering if it would be possible. Princess Penelope stamped her foot. Well, she said, could you or couldn't you? With a pig as intelligent as Lollipop, Johnny thought, I reckon I could. I reckon I could, miss, he said, but we'll have to stay in this stall for a while yet. And then if she makes any mistakes, it won't matter. It'll take a bit of time. Well, don't waste any then, said the princess sharply. Get on with it. And off she went. Thoughtfully, Johnny Skinner scratched Lollipop's bristly back, a back that seemed already to be getting plumper than it had been. What do you think, old girl? He said to her as she licked the last of her breakfast out of the trough. Do you think you could learn to be palace trained? Lollipop grunted. To Johnny's ears, Lollipop had a whole vocabulary of different grunts. That all, he was sure, meant different things, like scratch my back, or rub my ears, or mostly, I'm hungry. But there were two distinct grunts that Johnny knew meant yes or no. Yes was a quick, slightly high-pitched grunt. No was a deeper grunt, more long drawn out, like... Now, in answer to Johnny's questions, Lollipop clearly gave the yes grunt. Right, said Johnny, then we'll give it a try. But if you're going to finish up palace trained, you have to begin by becoming stall trained. And he tied the old bit of rope around the pig's neck and opened the door to the yard outside. First, thought Johnny, I must teach her a new word of command that she will learn to understand, just as she did with sit or down. He looked at Lollipop and saw that she was gazing up at him with brilliant, intelligent eyes, just as though she were aware of the thoughts that were going through his head, and suddenly he knew which word it was going to be, or word he was going to use. He took the rope off her neck, pointed to a patch of grass by the far side of the yard, and he said to the pig, Busy. Lollipop looked up at him again, and then looked across the yard. Busy, said Johnny, said again. Understand? And Lollipop gave the quick, high-pitched grunt and trotted over to the patch of grass and did everything that Johnny wanted her to do. That is a silly chapter. If you forgot, remember when you're house training a pet, what does that mean? Yeah, you're potty training them not to go to the bathroom inside on the ground. So Johnny's working to house train or palace train Lollipop. And right now he's using the command busy. Good.